What's up, guys? It's Wolfgang back with another Dorkfish review, and today look what we've got: the NECA Ultimate Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas Jack Skellington. Guys, I'm excited to do this one, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Released October 29th of 1993, The Nightmare Before Christmas did really not so well in theaters, to be honest. But as of today, it is a juggernaut in Disney and in just pop culture in general. Everything from apparel, comics, video games, figures, clearly anything, you name it, has been done with The Nightmare Before Christmas. And as always, we start with the box and accessories. So looking at the box, and in going over the box, it's basic in certain ways, but very well done. You've got the front cover with the flap, tells you everything you need to know about what it is. Love the art, love the cover. When you open it, you've got some neat little stuff. You've got a nice little picture of Jack. Obviously, you've got all this other stuff here. On the side there, you've got a picture of Jack. On the back, you've got some pictures of Jack. Just want you to note, keep in mind, that is either photoshopped or they use a second peg, something different for that head. That doesn't come with this figure. So you don't have any flat accessories there to show off. That's something you'll have to fix in post. Just going to tell you that. But otherwise, some cool pictures of Jack. One more picture of Jack and Zero together. And that is the box. And getting into his accessories, he comes with a pretty good spread of stuff, to be honest. So much so that some of it actually makes me think, with the Santa Claus release coming, that some of these things will interchange. The heads will interchange and maybe some of the hands. But that being said, we're going to start with the standard accessories first. So we've got things like the Jack in the Box, one of the toys that he delivers as Santa. It does pop out, actually. Just pegs and ports right in. The box, let's look at that right quick. Looks fantastic. The only thing, because he pops out, you would think the lid would close. It does not. It is a fixed piece. I kind of wish it would, because it would tie it together. Because the wheel here, put that down, the wheel here does spin. So you would think they would make the lid close, but they did not. But that being said, still a good piece right there. Boom. Oh, actually, I got him over here. So boom, I should say. You come with Jack's standard painting of himself. This is a really, really well done piece too, in terms of aesthetically looking. The wood's right. The drawing's awesome. It looks great. They even did the wire hanging in the back. My only gripe is I don't understand why they did it this way instead of giving you a little kickstand or something to put so you could stand it up, because you can't, and you'd have to have sticky tack or double-sided tape to put it on anything. So I'm not really certain why they did it that way, but it does look amazing for what they did. So props there. Comes with a couple of pumpkins as well. So this pumpkin right here, ooh, a little too close. Very well done, very well shaded, aesthetically, very pleasing. Looks great. And then this one here. And this one I actually think is the better of the two. The other one's a little stumpier and it leans, so you have a harder time seeing, if you look there, harder time seeing the face if it's down towards the ground, whereas this one you can put it up on the ground or anywhere and you're going to see that big pumpkin smile. Now getting into the other accessories here, we have a total of eight head sculpts with this figure. The one is on him right now, and then you've got his sad face here, which looks great. The only thing is you can tell it was two pieces. You can see the line work across the head, but still well done. The teeth are painted, the mouth is painted. You've got a couple of ooh and ah faces. So this one's kind of a ooh face or a whistling face, like he's whistling for Zero, his dog. Very well done, well sculpted, well painted. And you would think it's probably not a lot of paint, but I don't think it's molded in this white. It feels a little too chalky, so I think that's a painted white. You've got his screaming face. Very well done. I've always wondered about why you've got the teeth lines around the mouth and then the teeth in the mouth, but you know, hey, that's just aesthetic creation choice. I don't know, but it looks very accurate. You've got his standard closed mouth smiling face. You've got his kind of sinister grin face. Look at that. Very well done. You've got his jolly face. This is one that I would expect to see in the Santa Claus suit, so the Santa Claus hat. So I'm kind of wondering what heads that one will come with. I'll have to double check. I think they've already got images out. And then here's the other one, the kind of stumped or awe face, like when he first discovered Christmas Town. So yeah, you've got 8 head sculpts, all fantastically done, and they're all just a touch or majorly different. So you got a wide range of expressions you can do with him, which I absolutely love. He comes with 4 sets of hands, those 2 which are already on him in the package. And then he's got a tray here with a few different hands. I'm just going to put that tray right there. You've got a pointing hand. Very well done here. You've got another pointing hand. So you got a pointing hand for each. You've got kind of a wider grasping hand here. Or I should say actually a tighter, my apologies. You got a bit of a tighter grasping hand for each hand here because you get wider ones as well. Kind of claw-like hands here for holding stuff. So this one here. And this one here. And that's all for that tray. And then last but not least, you come with 2 things. The stand that he's on, you should be able to see with his feet. The only reason I don't want to pull it off is because you got to peg him in and out to get him to stand up. He kind of can stand, but not really. Certain positions, I just don't want to mess with it right now. But you do have Zero. So, and Zero comes with a clear stand. He goes on a ball peg so he can move around. Very, very well done. He looks fantastic. I don't know if I really consider him as... He moves, his head moves, and he moves around on that stand. So, somewhere between a figure and accessory. But yeah, so those are the accessories and side pieces that come with Jack Skellington. So with that, we're going to get into the aesthetic now. And aesthetics look great on this figure. We're going to start with Zero. We've already kind of gone over the aesthetics of the accessory. But with Zero, like I said, you've got this ball stand that he goes on. He's kind of see-through-ish, kind of clear. Bunches up in parts where it makes it harder to see through. And it's not actually shaded. It's not a paint shade, but the way they did the plastic, and it looks like it's shaded, and it's done very, very well. He's got his dog collar all the way around his neck. If you look at the pumpkin on the nose, beautifully done. Eyes, well done. There's not a lot of paint that needs to be done on this figure, but what paint is there? There is some white shading over the top. There might be some on this, but I can't really tell, but definitely on the face, if you can see it, it's kind of yellowed white, and then you get the matter white on top. So the head is done and shaded, but it looks great. Like I said, there's not a lot to it, but what they did do, fantastic. And then Jack here, very, very well done. We're going to move him in. I'm actually going to zoom him in quite a bit so that you can see all the heads are done where, if I can put them like, you see the blue in there, so the blue in the mouth, the black in the eyes and nose. You've got his, get it in the light, boom, there you go. You got his collar and tie. You've got the white underneath, pinstripe suit, very well done. Tethered back of the suit here. Looks very well done. The stripes are very clean. Not even because they're not supposed to be. It's matching the film and its design. But everything looks good. I mean, all the way up and down. Everything looks clean, which I'm very happy with. So they did an excellent job with Jack Skellington there. So aesthetically pleasing, great figure, looks good, like you would want it to look. But the question now is, how's the articulation? All right, so getting into articulation, we are going to start with Zero because Zero does have some articulation, not a lot. He is on, as you see here, this ball joint. So on this, he can move around. You can kind of get him perched up, perched down. You want a little bit of a flying pose that way. You can get it. You just got to fudge it a little, but you can get him there. And then his head is on a head joint as well, a ball joint as well. So it'll look up ever so slightly. Let's get him kind of forward so you can see it. So look up ever so slightly, look down ever so slightly, turns just fine. A little bit of attitude, but not a lot. Doesn't need a lot of articulation, but he's got a decent amount. He's got what you need to make it happen. So now we get into Jack Skellington, which we are going to get him off of this stand to do. So he is on a ball joint, and his neck goes down, and I believe his neck itself is just a ball joint. So you can do pretty much anything you want with the head. It moves around perfectly fine. You can get some really good, just with the top, really good movement. Then you've got rotation all the way around on the other bottom half of the neck joint. So together, they'll look up that far. Together, they'll look down about that far. Not great, but not the worst. Arms will T-pose. Of course, they go all the way around. That is going to block and hinder a little. But you've got elbow that goes more than 90 degrees. And you have rotation at the elbow, although I would tell you, you want to be careful pushing it. It's a thin joint, and you don't want to have it all the way up to turn it. You want to have it about 90 or less to turn it, because it's going to catch up here, right? Typical hinge and peg for NECA hands. So same old, nothing new there. Works just fine. The joint up top here turns perfectly fine, and you get some decent range. You can crunch down that far. So mixing it with the look down, you'll get about that far. You can crunch, knock 0 over. Crunch it back, not very far, honestly. That's going to catch, the tail is going to catch, so you really can't crunch them back too far. But you can get enough where you can get them an upwards look. So that's not bad at all. Turning, no problem at all. It's just on a ball joint, so it gives you some movement. So you got a little bit of side-to-side wiggle too, so not too bad. Nothing at the hip or belt line. So kicking leg up, you've got that plastic that's going to sit in the way. So he can kind of kick far, but you're going to have to push out to get him to kick up that far. As far as splits go, he can actually almost do a full split, which is pretty crazy. He can bend. You got to be careful. Small joints. So, whoop. The knee up. About the same as, if not a little less than the arms. Same thing. You got the swivel there. You have no swivel that I can tell at the joint for the thigh cut. So I think all your swivel is going to be in the knee. But you're going to want to, again, not have it bent all the way up. Otherwise, it can create some issues. And then the ankles are ball joints. So they are completely, they're really small feet, so do the best I can on that. But yeah, you can see they're ball joints, so they move around. Getting Jack to stand on his own, it's a little bit of a challenge. I'm kind of able to, but more often than not, he falls. So I'm just going to peg him in. At the bottom of the feet, you see you got the peg ports, and you got these here. So I'm just going to peg him in, and that is the easiest way to keep him standing. So yeah, articulation, not bad. Some things to be desired, sure. But overall, for what you're doing with this figure, for what Jack Skellington is, and for the meeting the aesthetic of him, I can't complain. I'm happy with it. So next we are going to get into size comparisons. So here we have Jack Skellington and Zero next to the NECA Ultimate Nosferatu and the Mezco 112 Halloween's Michael Myers. Some horror icons together. And here we have him next to the 52 Toys Mickey Mouse, as well as the NECA Elvis Edition Stitch. And overall, I gotta say, I really do like this figure a lot. Aesthetically, it's great. I think he has plenty enough articulation. Biggest drawback is going to be getting him to stand and then just being very careful with those thinner joints. But as far as a Nightmare Before Christmas figure goes, while there is a few others out there like Super 7, NECA did a cloth package version, bubble blister style version, not that long ago as well. As far as all those other kinds are out there, there's plenty to go around, but this is my definitive Jack. I absolutely adore him. I'm gonna get the rest of the line. So Sally is on the way, as well as the mayor. I know they're doing a Christmas Santa Claus Jack. I'm sure they'll be doing all of them, but you'll be seeing those up on the channel as they come. So guys, feel free to check those out. Check out all the other videos we've got. Make sure that you like, you share, you subscribe, and leave comments. I appreciate you guys for watching. So I'm going to bring this video to an end now. Thank you, and have a killer night. Wolfgang is out. Later, guys.